Hello, Toads and Toadettes. Metroid Prime was given a remaster, actually as a shadow drop, was literally posted to the eShop a few minutes after the direct. I actually waited a few weeks to get the physical version of the game, and when I finally got my hands on the game, being someone who played the original on GameCube, man, is this remaster so good. From the graphics to the now changeable controls, or the extras that were added with the remaster, it feels so fresh to play Metroid Prime once again. So here are my thoughts on Metroid Prime Remastered. First off, let's talk about the improved graphics, lighting, and everything that makes this game look so nice. Obviously, the GameCube is not known for being the best looking console. There is, the games like Pikmin that do look pretty nice. And Metroid Prime never necessarily looked bad. It was, in my opinion, one of the better looking GameCube games. But having it in HD on Switch just blows the GameCube version out of the window. When you use a charged beam to see Samus's face, it just looks so cool. And when it's raining after the ship segment of the game, the rain looks way more real now, and it just looks beautiful. The lighting is also incredibly good in this game. It makes it feel more realistic overall, and the actual just upscale in the graphics. They redid most of the models and animations, and just every model in this game is goated looking. The new sound effects are amazing, and I also love how they made Samus's arm cannon look. The lighting with it is perfect when you're using missiles, or if you're doing just a normal attack or charged beam. Seeing the different effects coming out of Samus's arm cannon is a nice treat to look at. And going back to the cutscenes, man, are these cutscenes crisp. Just seeing how cool Samus looks in the cutscenes and just the overall areas is so amazing. Going over and comparing the two games, Metroid Prime Remastered did beautifully on the graphics. Now let's talk about the era comparison. Obviously, Metroid Prime on the GameCube was just a GameCube controller. There was no layouts for buttons like there is on Switch. So you were kind of stuck with the GameCube controls. Even though the GameCube controller was goated, in my opinion, the controls weren't the best for Metroid Prime. Same goes for Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. And the default controls for Metroid Prime Remastered are already better, in my opinion, than the GameCube version's default controls. Not only that, if there's something you don't like, you can just go into the Switch settings and go ahead and map the buttons to your liking to have the best Metroid Prime Remastered experience. This helps me a lot because I do not like switching from combat visor to scanning visor using two different D-pad things. It gets, it's not so good, let's just say that. Like in the chase scene, I'm trying to switch to my scanning visor, and then I'm trying to close it at the same time, and just count down, and fire's coming, and I just end up taking screenshots. It's, yeah, I'm glad I can change the controls, basically. And lastly, I want to talk about the extras and some more extras, you'll see what I mean, that we could be getting in the future. They basically just gave us some extras like game models or concept art, which is pretty cool to look at. This is basically what you get in a special edition of a game with the art book, and they're basically giving it to you here included with the game. And first of all, can we talk about the game's only $40? I find that pretty generous. Skyward Sword HD was $60, and this is only $40 for this amazing game. Yeah, there's not that much content added besides just the graphics and the extras. But hey, this game is amazing, and I highly recommend getting it also. But yeah, the extras are pretty cool extra stuff to look at, hence the name. But what I mean by other extras is that there could possibly be DLC in the future. Who knows, maybe some side missions you can do, or extra areas for you to explore and go over. Maybe even Call of Duty, Metroid Prime crossover. No, I'm just playing. We're not going to get an online mode. That was a complete joke. Don't think I'm crazy. I obviously know that would not be a thing they would do. But yeah, basically, there is just a huge possibility for DLC in the game as well. Before I end this first impressions or review, whatever, it's not really a review. I'm not going to give it a score. You have an imagination. Think of some kind of category to put this under. I want to talk about Metroid Prime itself. Metroid has always worked in the 2D format. Besides the first two games, I guess the younglings back then were just smarter and didn't need a map. They're too cracked, man, too good. But yeah, the transition into 3D in Metroid Prime was perfect. Keeping the areas that you need to go back from or go into, especially after the first segment of the game where it gets more non-linear. There's more options for you to go to and secrets for you to find and go back to rooms. And when you unlock, for example, the morph ball, then you have to go back to another room to use it that you've previously been into. And then the map is also really cool, how it's like 3D, and I don't know, something about just that aspect of Metroid Prime exploration is really good. Okay, but can we talk about the combat as well? I am personally not the hugest fan of Metroid Prime's combat. I think locking onto an enemy and then just spamming the heck out of the arm cannon, or I guess you can use the occasional charge beam or a missile. I just, for some reason, in the dodging, it just doesn't feel as immersive and really detailed. But I mean, I guess that's not really what counts. The boss fights are still fun. But that's just my opinion, that the battles could, or not really, they're not really battles though. It's kind of, they just randomly throw out like enemies at you. Whatever you want to call it, the combat system is not my favorite. But speaking of the visor, I do think that the visors in the game look dope, how you're playing from Samus's perspective. So here are my final thoughts from playing the game. Metroid Prime Remastered is a beautiful Switch game. Metroid Prime was a goated and cracked game on GameCube, so taking the Switch, giving it some extras, and making it look beautiful was a perfect idea to get people hyped for Metroid Prime 4. Nintendo nailed this game perfectly, besides for the release window, releasing it on eShop literally an hour after it was announced, and then making us wait until this 22nd, a few weeks later, maybe like 2 weeks later, to actually get the physical version. And then it was getting, now I'm pretty sure it's getting scalped. I mean, it's like $100 on secondhand websites and sold out at like GameStop and stuff. Yeah, Nintendo's pretty crazy with release stuff, but the game is amazing, and I highly recommend getting it if you are a Metroid fan, or honestly just own a Nintendo Switch. And there you have it, my Toads and Toadettes. Those were my thoughts on Metroid Prime Remaster. It is a fantastic game, like I said, that I highly recommend checking out if you are interested. If you did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing, as it does help out the channel, and subscribing is free. How about you spread it on some positivity by just hitting that subscribe button. I do have other Nintendo related content on my channel that I also do highly recommend checking out. And on that note, guys, I will see you in the next one.